Hi everyone, my topic is that the online games have a multiple effect on women's self-perceptions. And here's my outline. There are three parts: the context, analysis, result, and advice. First, I want to introduce the context part. I want to introduce the context of my project. So historically, the computer gaming has been dominated by the male groups. And after the 1990s, the things started to change because there are more and more games designed for girls appearing, appearing, and more females are attracted by the online games. And I also found one research post recently. According to the Newzoo's Global Games Market Report released in July 2020, there are 2.7 billion gamers out of a global population of 7 billion, and if those 1.2 billion are women, it's nearly 45%. And in this picture, we can see that the women actually almost share the same amount with the male. So this triggers me want to explore that what the online games will bring to the women, since the women gamers are tend to extend. And then we turn to the analyze part. According to the Clone, Helena, and Mark's research, we found that female gamers were significantly more likely than male gamers to play with both family members and real-life friends. And except for the people they already know, the women actually form emotionally stronger friendship with the ability to discuss sensitive issues, to meet with friends, to psychically date with each other. And as for the men, they are more likely to treat the people they meet online as game companions instead of a close friend. So this demonstrates that the women not only concrete the intimate relationship they already had, but also create a more close intimate relationship that were conducive to their positive self-building. And I also analyze these questions in the angles of female characters in games. And I found there are mainly two aspects to demonstrate these questions. One is number differences. And according to the Berger's research, she found that in the game she researched, male characters were almost 4 times more frequently portrayed than female characters, and they were given significantly more game relevant actions. And in spite of the females' less frequent appearance, female characters were more likely to be portrayed with exaggerated and often objectified sexualness. And I think it's really important to define what's the objectifications. It involves an exaggerated boost or an exaggerated groin area. Women are more likely to be objectifying than men. And also, it's not denying that the men escape from the they can't escape from the being objectified, but male avatars may be presented as muscular and heroic, whereas as for the women, the sexualized characters are mostly to meet the sexual desire. So these two, as for the first one, it may make the female think that in the real world they are less important than the man, and they should be in a secondary positions to play a supportive role. And as for the portrayal differences, it may make the women think that they should be look as perfect as the people they see online. They see in the online games, and in the real world, the most quick way to get this perfect frame or perfect faces is through the surgery or other unhealthy method. So here's the interview that we discuss the reason why sexualized female characters attract people. And according to Lewis, he thinks that the reason why is the contrast between the reality and the beautiful abstract online games. So I think this is a really meaningful point and perspective.
The base for me to say this, or like the thing that helped to say this, is comparing with real life. So in real life, you cannot see like sexualized characters easily. Like when you contact with other people in your real life, especially like in university, like nobody really wear that kind of costume to go to school every day. So, but in game, the contrast is really big. As for socializing function, you can really perform it every day in your real life, and in game, that's like the same kind of case. So what are the things we really can be attracted with or to? The things that can form a really sharp contrast with the real world. That is the thing. So yeah. So I guess yeah, when we see this kind of sexualized custom of female players or characters, I guess that's when people really notice the thing. For male players, a lot of male players who are not really morally discipline themselves, they may think this, oh, this is a really interesting thing. This can satisfy me. But for female players, I guess they may feel comfortable. But again, some of the people, they won't stand up or speak up. So that's the problem they're facing right now. We need people to stand up and to say, oh, this is not good. I'm not feeling well. So please stop.
Academic articles, and what we're gonna next to do is to introduce the questionnaire I made by myself, and this is the basic information of my questionnaire. And there is one and there is one question is, what kind of games do you play? And as for we can see that as for the males, they are more likely to choose the answer that the competitive games, and as for the male, they are more likely to choose the casual games. We can infer that the male and female they actually play the different kind of games. And I selected the males samples to do the further research. And there's one question that, in your experience, have female characters been sexualized in the games you play with sensitive part exaggerated? And to my experience, almost all the boys, no, not almost, it's all the boys, they choose that they have encountered this phenomenon. And what varies is the frequency they encountered. So based on these two questions, I draw an interesting conclusion that women are not directly influenced by sexualized roles sometimes because they play the different games with the male. But through males' conduction, when men see the sexualized characters, they put more pressures on the female close relationship around them, such as their girlfriend or their female friend. So, and as for the conclusion part, I also want to introduce one question of my questionnaire, which is, in your opinion, does the current game environment have more of the positive or negative impact on women's self-perception overall? And we can see that in general, people believe that the internet has more effective, a positive effect on women. So my next interview is about how women balance positive and negative effects and try their best to get rid of the discriminations. And I asked some advice from my interviewee. I want to hear the male's suggestions because, um, I mean, 旁观者清, the outsiders, they almost see them. I mean, in China, which is, there's a saying go that the outsiders sees most of the games. 旁观者清. Yeah. So
Yes.
as a male, do you have any other advice for women to construct their self-perceptions? I mean, stand out, to speak up. This is definitely a great one.
Yes. I mean, the whole problem is really complicated. It is constructed by different components, and each one has a long and profound history if you look back into it. So, I guess other than speaking up, I guess it's important for a female to control more power, I guess.
No.
Yes, so that's important because it's all about power in nowadays world. Whether what kind of resources you have, because that's like the basic thing or the foundation for you to speak up. So when you have power, you have more power to speak up. If you are only like an unknown person, when you speak up, nobody's really like paying attention to you, even if like what you are saying is right. So in what ways can female get power? I guess education is one of the most important thing. And um, I'm not only speaking like education itself, but we should definitely think about how to utilize gender equality to really put gender equality in our education, where the education itself is not really designed by male-controlled society. Women should be part of the game. Women should be the designer of education too. So like which gender is really making the final choice or decision. I guess both genders should play the part in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think anything about their, I mean, self-construct? I mean, when they
Yeah.
deal with I mean, the depressed
Oh,
emotions brought by the
yeah,
gender
yeah,
discriminations, how they deal with
yeah.
this.
I guess um again, why not I point education or like a culture, the general culture thing, because
Yeah.
culture influence people um in no shape, like 潜移默化 in Chinese.
Mm.
So if you look at one thing almost every day, you'll definitely be influenced by it. So don't make it normalized. Don't make it really normalized. So um and also be confident, I would say. And try
Mm.
to reach out to other people if you have problems. For example, male who morally discipline themselves or don't
Mm.
have this kind of prejudice in their heart.
Mm.
Yes, and other female people and other women in the society to form a joint force, and in this force you can help each other, and that's how I think you can you know deconstruct the um, prejudice that existed in the world for such a long time, and then construct a new kind of image for all the women. Yeah.
Okay. So this is basically all my presentations, and I would like to thank my interview interviewees, and I really hope that I can contribute to address the sexism in the games and help women to build the positive self-perceptions in games. And here here is works cited. So thanks for watching.